The Avatar. Their truth. Bro, Avatar was low-key so deep. Element heroes. I'd rather be whole than good. That's what I say all the time. People will say you're insane, you're overconfident, you're cocky, blah 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 blah. But I'm like, dude, sometimes like is being good like what is good to society? Being good is accepting the popular narrative, taking the blue pill, getting in line with all the other NPC fucking robots, you know, being glued to your TikTok, being glued to Instagram, chasing money, like doing all this shit. Shut up, Mick. I don't want to hear about Taylor Swift right now. That's a bot take. Exactly, Tish. Or fucking Mick is trying to drag us back into the Matrix. Avatar was based. I miss Avatar. True. Shawn Mendes, boy.
Since the dawn of cinema, there has always been a clear theme of good versus evil, usually with the hero winning at the end. But as filmmaking has grown and developed, so have its characters.
I love the Joker.
As kids, we love heroes, but as we grow older, we start to...
Even as a kid, I always liked the bad guys, chat. I was always rooting for the bad guys to win. I was always upset when they lost.
Understand villains more and more. Maybe even to the point
You gotta break free,
where we
Tish.
start to empathize with them. That's because
Tish, Shawn Mendes is your Matrix.
we learn from a young age that being anything other than good has no intrinsic value. It is only later that we realize the world is not as black and white as we were once told. There are, however, characters who do not
Can't relate,
belong
I
to
still
the
root for
hero nor
heroes.
villain categories. Those who reside between the two opposing forces of good and
Who's
evil,
on who?
like Walter White,
Matrix.
the 2019 Joker.
You guys didn't like Walter White from Breaking Bad? He was a bad guy technically, but I loved Walter White. He made meth for his family to cure his cancer, to make sure his family had a future.
Patrick Bateman, Zuko,
Stand by that.
the narrator, and the list goes on.
Harry Potter's cringe.
Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche proposed we look beyond good and evil and explore the gray area in between. Why are these characters so popular nowadays? Is there maybe something inside of us that's craving to embody the dark side?
Me.
To answer this question, we need to know...
I've completely accepted the dark side, chat. You guys should too. Being good, first of all, if you're being good, you're a bot. You're behaving, you're licking the boots of the fucking system, you're licking the boots of society. Break free and be a fucking anti-hero.
all these characters and we as humans consist of.
Anti-hero,
Swiss
Harry
philosopher
Potter.
Carl
No, it's
Jung
not,
made
Mick.
the distinction between the persona and the shadow self. The persona being our outward face we present to the world, and the shadow, our darker side, often left untouched. As we grow up and try to navigate ourselves in the modern world, we develop certain characteristics that we and others deem likable. Without often knowing, we carefully craft an image of ourselves that we present to the outside world, in order to be accepted or liked. Why are we doing this? Well, most of the time we're forced
I've still never seen the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Because it has many benefits. It's easier to build relationships, establish trust, and often comes with financial gain as well. In other words, those characteristics are safe. So one might ask, what's wrong with it then? Well, along the way, we reject those characteristics that we don't find likable or necessary.
But they're still inside you. They still reside within all of us. Spark the Vampire. It's good, I actually like that.
Brings us to a character like Patrick Bateman, who's obsessed with how others view him.
Oh, I love
He's
Patrick
doing
Bateman.
his utmost best to craft a quote-unquote perfect persona. He's applying a literal face mask every morning, metaphorically masking his shadow self. And that's how the persona starts to serve as a substitution of one's true self in society. And Carl Jung describes it as the conformity archetype. But suppressing our true self can cause serious conflict down the line, as explored by other characters like Walter White in Breaking Bad, the narrator in Fight Club, even Bruce Wayne in Batman, Zuko in Avatar, and Arthur Fleck in The Joker.
That's why you just need to be yourself, chat. Let it out. We all have a dark side. We have a dark, weird, freaky side. You have crazy opinions. You have crazy thoughts. You know people aren't going to agree with you. You know if you let them out that people might reject you. They might not like you. But who gives a fuck? Because at the end of the day, it's only gonna bring you down.
American Psycho will therefore be the cornerstone of this character study, but I'll branch out into many other movies and series as we go on and explore what's behind our persona.
You need to stop, Claude. You gotta stop giving a fuck about these people. Because the people that hate you for your opinions, hate you for your energy, they hate you for these different things. You don't want your life anyways. You don't want them around. Those are the people that are gonna make you unhappy. They're gonna drag you down. They're gonna give you anxiety. That's the truth. Sure, you are lethal. Let them out. It's hard to stop caring. It is hard. Like I say all the time, when it's hard, it means you're doing the right thing. If it's easy to say, oh, don't say mean things, don't have opinions, just or be nice to everyone, and that's the easy thing to do because everyone's gonna like you. You're gonna be all nice and friendly. No, sometimes you gotta be an asshole, and sometimes you gotta be nice, and sometimes you gotta say the hard truths, the truths of the world, the truth of the matter. But everyone's fucking lying to themselves and lying to each other.
Living the life of someone I didn't even know.
It's not about being an asshole. Tough love, in a way. In all seriousness, it's not about being an asshole. It's about being real with yourself. And when you're real with yourself, people are going to see you as an asshole. People hate that.
There are parts as a human being that are underdeveloped, we have left behind and avoided looking at. This is the shadow self, a set of personality traits that are deemed undesirable.
Exactly.
By the person itself or the environment.
And I used to do that. I used to have so many traits about myself that I was like, oh, people aren't gonna like this about me. People might think I'm crazy. People might think I'm this or that, blah, 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 blah. And one day, bro, I just had to wake up and stop caring and just let them out and just be those things. Be abrasive. Be loud. Be aggressive. Be my fucking self. Be a man. You know what I'm saying? Tissue, shut the fuck up. Stop caring and see as a bad person that I'm made to feel like crap. Those are the people trying to fucking conform you. They're trying to fucking shove the blue pill down your throat, Avengers, and make you conform so they're happy. No, that's not what shadow self means. It's not about witchcraft. It's a term. Shadow self comes way before all this stuff you guys are talking about. I have that part of me out that I want to let out. I want to speak my mind, but I care too much. I get anxiety. That's right. It's not about this. It's not about witchcraft. This is about a book by Zedric, talking about what's between good and evil, and it's your shadow self, and that's where you guys are getting this witchcraft. Oh, your shadow self, it'll take over. Like, it's not actually like that.
In essence, the qualities that you ought not to be. Therefore, these traits are pushed away into the unconscious because what's not accepted is often banished or forgotten.
It puts in your subconscious. It causes anxiety. It causes anger. It causes you to hurt others. It causes you to do all these things when you don't let out your true emotions. When you have a shadow self. No, I don't believe in Christianity. I don't believe in paganism. I don't believe in that shit at all. My brain went to.
According to Carl Jung,
the only thing I believe in, and I'll recommend this, I'll say this. The only thing I believe in myself. Because guess what? God, witchcraft, praying, meditating, none of that shit ever changed my life. You know when my life started changing? When I believed in myself and I went out of my way, used my hands, used my voice, used my mind to make my own life better, to make my own self more confident, to make my own self more physically fit. And that's when shit got better. That's when shit changed. Believing in yourself. It changed mine. I just don't believe that. That's just me. Like, I can't believe in a God who like lets like all these terrible things happen. Like that's what did it for me. Like there's just too much evil in this world, and to think that God's sitting up there just watching it happen is just like mind blowing, man. To disagree. That may have worked out that way. And the thing is, when I started doing that, when I started rejecting all those ideas and all those things, bad things were supposed to happen to me, but nothing but good things happen. Good, Maggot. I can at least agree with you on that point. You're smart for that. Believe what's within your own power, chat. There's nothing more out there other than what you can do with your own mind, with your own power. And like I'd rather believe in witchcraft before I believe in some sort of abhorrent being sitting on a fucking throne, watching everyone suffer, and then only giving you breaks when you show him unconditional love, unconditional obedience, unconditional shit like that. That's that's literally like the definition of toxicity. Between believing in God, in between the believing in God thing, but that's a story for another day, and we can talk about that another day. You'd probably like it. I mean, maybe someday, but like right now, my mind's too focused on something I'm creating. I'm working on a huge YouTube video. First of all, that's gonna So I don't think I could do it on stream because my mind just, when I start to think about it on stream, my mind just goes to so many fucking places. I can't really coherently express it. So I'm working on a huge scripted video to kind of explain my movement, my ideology, and I think that the truth, the true way to like live, the true way to solve things. And I will say within what I believe and what I understand, there's room for things like what you guys say. I'm not saying it's not impossible, or it's not impossible, but it's definitely not probable. And there's definitely like no one else out there but us, chat.
Every person carries a shadow, but the more it is repressed, the denser it becomes. You could say it's literally our blind spot. You don't know what you don't know. But just because it is unconscious doesn't mean it isn't present. You see, the symbol of yin and yang doesn't represent evil and good. It's a symbol of harmony. And although dark and light are opposite, there is a piece of them in both. Carl Jung warned us that if we fail to understand the shadow, or that we have one, we can't understand the root cause of our bad decisions.
He believes that the pathway
fuck Jordan Peterson.
completion as a human being is through the embodiment of the monster.
Embodiment of the monster.
That's the discovery of the shadow.
Yeah, self-growth is the most important thing. And the thing is, I think, and this is why I'm so against God, the idea of God, because the idea of self-growth isn't on you. You give all the credit to God. You bless you. Oh, thank you, God. No, that shit was you, motherfucker. You worked hard for this shit. You deserve that shit. And then you'll never feel a sense of accomplishment or self-growth believing that way. And it's inherently made, and Christianity especially is inherently made to hold people down, to hold people's accomplishments down, to keep their self-esteem down, so they don't become free thinkers. They stay conformed into a society where everyone is fucking brainwashed and has a weak mental health, and they rely on something that's not there. That's why we have more free thinkers nowadays, I think. As far as like radical thinkers, I would say. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I think that's another reason. Another reason people are going crazy too.
Needs to look at the parts he does not want to look at, because in that untapped shadow, a repressed side of the self also lie characteristics that are needed to become whole. And just like Prince Zuko, who has been raised by the evil regime of the Fire Nation.
The line of a cult. It's 100% a cult. You go there and you give them your money. You guys all pay tithes for what? Where's that shit go? The power within yourself. Literally, it is a cult. Churches are cults.
One needs to free himself from the confines of their persona in order to get to their true self.
Other Christians, that's why I stopped going to church.
Leave it behind.
You know, give money. The only reason you guys believe in God is because your whole life growing up, you told you were going to go to hell and burn forever if you didn't. Your whole life. What's the things you enjoy most about being on earth? The guilty pleasures, money, sex, all the things that God frowns upon. Think about that. When you go to heaven, do you just want to sit around all day playing a harp? What are you going to do all day? You're not going to fuck. You're not going to do anything. You're just going to sit around all day? Bro, it's bizarre to believe. Good, maggot. Sex isn't that important.
Confronting your...
A big God can make play video games. You think God approves of you? So here's the thing. If you believe in God, I'll go and say you probably shouldn't be watching Twitch. You shouldn't be playing video games. Simulating killing someone. Like, dude. Like cussing. Watching porn. Masturbation. If you believe in Jesus or God and you're doing all these things, according to him, you're not entering the kingdom of heaven. You gotta think about these things.
Your shadow means confronting pain. Fight Club is established as a way for modern men to access their shadow self by literally experiencing physical pain and aggression.
Having multiple partners, getting divorced, all sins. If you truly believe in God, eating pork is a sin. Eating all those unclean meats is a sin. Go read the like people pick and choose what they want to do out of the Bible. Like they pick and choose what works for them and they choose those things. But literally God says you can't pick and choose. Literally Christians literally ignore the whole Old Testament except for the 10 Commandments because they want to live a more worldly life.
society where men have been emasculated, they feel the need to regain their tribal manliness. Therefore, the narrator unconsciously creates an alter ego called Tyler Durden, his shadow self, who embodies all the characteristics that he has repressed. Nietzsche said that very frequently people are afraid to do things that are regarded as bad, and instead of admitting that they are acting,
the new gets reworded. Wait, what? No, no, that's not how that works at all. That's not how that works at all. So the Old Testament, God lays down a strict diet. God gives a strict diet for all his followers to adhere to. He gives strict relationship advice, and it does not change the New Testament. The New Testament doesn't reword it, doesn't rewrite it. They don't change anything. They don't, like, they add more to it. It's not reworded at all. The New Testament and the Old Testament are the only reason the New and Old Testament are separated is because of the writers who write it. And so most of the Old Testament is written like post thought. So it's written at the same time. It's written post thought. So it's a retelling, totally different story. It's what? You guys are crazy. It's like post thought written, and the New Testament is written as it happens. Sinner, but as long as you ask for forgiveness, you'll be forgiven and allowed into heaven. But the thing is, you can't with that mindset, like, oh, I'm gonna sin, but I'm gonna keep on sinning, and when it's time, I'm gonna say, oh, please forgive me, God. And he's like, oh, well, you knew it was wrong the whole time. If you do it knowingly it's wrong, and you keep doing it, and then you ask for forgiveness, and then do it again, that's not how it works. You ask and you repent. So you guys know what the definition of repenting. Repenting means you don't do it again. I mean, you could slip up and ask for forgiveness again. Only to a person without sin. So it's like this. Yeah, I know that. So if you're knowingly doing something that's against God or against his teachings or against his things, and you do them continuously, and then you ask for forgiveness when it's convenient, let people repent a lot. Okay. So that's not how it works. So, like, you don't get to continually fuck up and just fuck up, and then because you're afraid that you're gonna burn in hell, you follow his teachings because you believe it's the right thing to do. If the only reason that's literally the definition of repenting. Like, literally, you follow his teachings and you go out of your way to strive to be more Christ-like. You strive to be more Christ-like. Like, you guys do you guys know what repenting means? Like, you can't just be like, oh, like, I just don't want to go to hell. I really want to go to heaven. I'm sorry. Will you please forgive me, God? You got, like, he wants you to walk in the footsteps of Christ. And if Christ was truly without sin, then you can't be going around sinning every day. You can have your slip-ups. Yeah, they say that, and when you do, you ask for apologies. But if you live in sin every single day, that is not asking for forgiveness, and that's not repenting, and then you repent when it's convenient. Come on. Like, you should not be listening. Like according to God, you should not be listening to Billie Eilish. God doesn't want you listening to things with loud drums, loud beats. That's in the Bible. So anything with a drum, with a hard guitar, you can't listen to.
Cowardly, they tell themselves that they are acting morally. But solely being good and always avoiding conflict is not what human beings are like. So Tyler teaches the narrator to become everything but good, obedient, and cowardly. Nietzsche's and Jung's
Be a Chad
are very Tyler Durdian in that sense. This brings us to the
Including
importance
Hades.
of the anti-hero, dark characters that are deeply flawed and lack conventional heroic attributes. The anti-hero is a conflicted character who often has a cloudy moral compass. But
in churches? Exactly! So listen. If I can find the verse. Sometimes when I listen to it, where's the fucking verse at? Away with your noisy beats, your noisy drums, and okay, this is not a Amos. Like, why is this worded so weird? I know this is wrong. Look at this shit. Oh, this is like a newfound faith Bible. What the fuck is that? I've never even heard of that. Okay, we're getting too much in this religious aspect. Back to the anti-heroes.
Realistic, complex, and oftentimes even likable. Anti-heroes confront us with
Yep.
the devil.
God also doesn't want you to pierce your body. He doesn't want you to get tattoos. If you got tattoos, you pierce your body. Those are also sins. Cutting your hair, shaving, change your percent zero is sin. That's why people say is a sin. It's not the definition of sin. And if you believe in God, you shouldn't believe in abortion. So you're basically saying women don't have rights to their own body, and you're pro-life, which I'm very pro-choice. So like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. I just can't believe in something like that. Like, that's just inherently seems wrong and evil.
Shadow within us, our fears and weaknesses. And it's no coincidence that the oldest story ever written, the Epic of Gilgamesh, was an anti-heroic tale. The story of a brutal tyrant who foolishly tried to defeat death. Something no human being can escape.
What's this? It's what's written in the Bible. It's what God says.
Fight Club is a way to balance the scales, so to speak. The irony of the narrator buying a yin and yang table is that he's not in balance himself. So Tyler forcefully balances his life by destroying his possessions. He explains to the narrator that he doesn't want to die without any scars. Tyler's philosophy gives the narrator purpose for a while, but he begins to be consumed by it and sees the men in Fight Club radicalize. We need to be impulsive at times and we need to take risks, but at the same time, we got to make sure our shadow does not take full control.
Yeah, so you guys gotta like understand, like, you guys can be yourself, you can let your shadow self out. Like, obviously in our society, you can't like just go full balls to the wall, because like how society is, you have to like maintain a certain level, like your job, your relationships, you know, pay the bills, things like that. And obviously some of these things would like directly affect that.
I hold at your neck the Gom Jabbar. Poison needle. Instant death.
Confronting the shadow often happens on an emotional level. In Dune, Paul has to encounter his biggest fear.
I never saw Dune with Timothy Chalamet.
To prove that he's the chosen.
Was it good?
But if he can't, he'll die.
Is he crying? What a bitch.
Scared of becoming an evil tyrant and sees visions of a falling kingdom. And like Prince Zuko, who's struggling with his tyrant father and difficult childhood, the shadow often comes in the form of past trauma.
Maybe Ben was right. 9 p.m. I gotta head to bed.
And sees visions of himself becoming like his father, the person that scarred him physically and mentally at a young age for not being aggressive.
But then it never came.
Enough. Since then, he only knows how to fuel his actions out of anger. And Bruce Wayne, who witnessed his parents' murder and then becomes known as the billionaire orphan. However, secretly he confronts his trauma by avenging his parents' death and eradicating crime under the name of Batman.
I love Batman, chat. I'm Batman.
The shadow self of Bruce Wayne's persona. The anti-hero is the shadow of a hero. That's why he's often called the dark hero. And it's the thing that the persona needs to incorporate to become the hero or the villain when left unconscious and repressed.
A war in my name! Everyone's shouting my name! You know who you are. You know who you are.
Wait, Zendaya's in that movie? Damn.
You did this to me!
Yes.
Shadow is a big part of who you are, and the longer it's left in the dark, the more power it will have.
Should've just killed people. I agree. Like, kill the Joker, get it over with. Save so many lives. Yes, lol.
Fleck, better known as the Joker, is an example of what happens when the shadow gets repressed. The movie explores the concept of the sad clown paradox.
If you repress your shadow self too much, you'll go insane. Only had like 5 minutes of screen time. Really?
Which came from a study published in 1981 titled Pretend the World is Funny and Forever. It explains how sad it is to see someone work super hard to make people laugh while not being happy himself. We learned that the Joker wasn't always the supervillain he is known for. we get to experience the tragic tale of a failed and lonely stand-up comedian. Lots of people are cruel to him. He has a laughing disorder, and there is no money to provide mental health care.
Never watched it. She wasn't in it much.
In on him,
Damn.
and all of the pressures that he is under. And so we believe that he essentially is a good man, even though his actions are terribly wrong. The film kind of...
When you guys watched the Joker, did you feel bad for him? Like, what were your emotions to him, or did you not like him? I felt like, dude, I truly like. Obviously, what he did was wrong. It's not excusable. But, like, at the same time, like, I could kind of feel like society kind of pushes people to that extent that aren't strong enough to deal with it, or don't know how, or aren't taught.
Makes you want the Joker to avenge because of all the terrible things that happened to him. This is also why we have empathy for Walter White, a
Damn,
science
Mick.
teacher with a family, your typical persona. But when he finds out he has lung cancer, he decides to hide it from his family and temporarily starts making drugs in order to make enough money to secure his family's future. His motivations are really quite understandable. He wants what's good for his family and for himself.
But I never really liked it personally.
But not many people
I loved it.
voluntarily want to confront their pain, weaknesses, or trauma, simply because it's scary as hell.
It's
what
hard.
often happens is that the shadow stays...
That's what I told you guys the other night. People don't want to confront their pain. They don't want to confront their trauma. They don't want to deal with it. They just want to stay in it forever. And it'll drive you insane. It'll make you mad. It'll make you a miserable fucking person. But I feel like he had a hard time. I mean, I didn't like feel bad, like in the sense of like he killed people. Like, oh, like, you know, there's a reason. Like, but I if he didn't kill people and just lived a really sad life, like most people do. Like most people obviously don't kill people. So I'm not excusing that. But like I do feel like people who are different like that are shunned and pushed to the edge of society, or who have conditions are just fucked, bro. Like they're just pushed to the fringes and they live a lonely, terrible fucking life. And there's so many people like that we just don't know about.
He's repressed, and then things can get very,
Good Avengers.
very dark.
Have you seen what it's like out there, Murray? Do you ever actually leave?
I feel bad
the
for
city? They think that we'll just sit there and take it like
Me
good
too,
little
Giraffe.
boys. That we won't werewolf and go wild.
You finished?
There is a fine line between the anti-hero and the villain. The anti-hero still operates for the greater good, but when the monster is left uncontrolled and you lose perspective, you might live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
You clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger.
Oh, I love that fucking part, dude. The Chaska. God, if you haven't watched Breaking Bad, you gotta watch it. It's so good.
Guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
That was so badass! Jessica Jones? Who the fuck is Jessica Jones? Skylar's the worst. Yeah, Skylar was so obnoxious, bro. Bro, did you see Narcos, Giraffe? He needed a wife like Pablo Escobar had, someone who supported him.
What we see in Walter White is an ordinary man driven to extremes and disappearing down a rabbit hole. By doing the wrong thing for the right reasons and not telling the truth, he spirals towards increasing villainy. His initial motivations become hollow validations.
Run.
Patrick Bateman is a walking paradox. He preaches returning to moral values, but does the complete opposite. His crafted persona is slowly falling apart. It's a story of how image over individual eventually takes its toll.
Tonight, I just had to kill a lot of people, and I'm not sure I'm gonna get away with it this time.
All these characters weren't aware of their shadow in the first place.
I love American
so the
Psycho.
monster inside was able to grow beyond their control.
There are no more barriers to cross. All I have in common with the uncontrollable and the insane, the vicious and the evil, all the mayhem I have caused, and my utter...
The dark past because she was mind controlled by a guy who did bad things, so she struggles to be a good person because her past haunts her.
indifference toward it, I have now surpassed.
I've never heard of her.
My pain is constant and sharp. And
Sounds
I do
cool.
not hope for a better world for anyone. No new knowledge can be extracted
Dude, are they gonna make another Joker, like, prequel to this? Like, or sequel, I mean? Like, what the fuck's going on?
from my telling. This
It's
confession
been like, what, 2 years or 2 or 3 years, yeah?
nothing.
However, there is a way we can prevent things from going this far, and it's by understanding that deep down inside of us all lies a piece of evil. And only when a person is able to master his darkest shadow, he can become...
With Lady Gaga as Harley? Oh, that's gonna be fucking fire, bro.
his true
When's that
self.
supposed to come out?
Zuko realized
Me
he's a
too.
monster, but he doesn't know how to control it. Therefore, he has to completely relearn firebending so that it isn't fueled by hatred. And Aang also needs firebending, the thing he feared most, to become the Avatar. And
So that's what I've been trying to tell you guys.
Fire is known to be dangerous, and despite being a
Like these feelings you have of like aggression, anger, anxiety, like you're scared to let them out. You're like, oh, if I get so angry, like you could feel these things into great things. You could feel them into good, to productive, to like meaningful fucking things, passion. Look it up, 2024. Damn. But they made a mess of all their movies. Jeez.
possible force of destruction, they
Yeah.
have to learn that it's also a force of life. The shadow too doesn't only contain negative characteristics, it's our animalistic side. It's the source of both creative and destructive energies. This inner relationship with the monster is beautifully expressed in Harry Potter, who has a piece of evil lodged deeply within him, because to be truly good,
I don't know, Giraffe.
Harry first
I hear people pronounce it two ways, like this and like the normal way, Aang.
to understand the source of evil, in order to stand up to Voldemort.
There's a reason Harry can speak with snakes. There's a reason he can look into Lord Voldemort's mind. A part of Voldemort lives inside him.
Dude, this actually looks kind of cool. Maybe I should have watched Harry Potter all the way through and paid attention. 80,000 times in this show.
This is what Carl Jung meant with rather being whole than good.
He might be foreign, because look at his voice. He might be from somewhere else. Harry the Horcrux. Maybe I should watch Harry Potter. Yeah, maybe I should. That looked pretty cool.
That means being capable of showing aggression, defying convention.
I've only seen parts of it, maybe like the first one or some shit.
Really needed. To quote Jordan Peterson, it's necessary to become a monster.
Oh, I loved Life of Pi, bro.
Or even a lot of a monster, when the circumstances demand it. And then know how to control it. The English word meek is nowadays translated as being gentle or weak, but a fuller understanding
How to
comes
look
from its
good.
Greek origin,
Yeah.
pros, which means strength under control. It's like when you have a sword and you know how to use it and are courageous enough.
I'm saying, it's like fueled rage, fueled aggression, fueled pain. Like, you gotta use it for good. Like, one of the things that keeps pushing me forward isn't like necessarily like ambition or like money or success. It's like a lot of pain that I felt in my past, a lot of like different parts of me, you know what I'm saying?
When you have to.
Darker and darker, that's what I like about it.
I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? No, you.
Streaming on.
You complete me.
Chat, that's me to you guys.
The reason why the interaction between Batman and the Joker is so interesting is because the Joker knows that Batman is not his opposite. That doesn't mean Batman is just as evil as the Joker. He's a good man, but he is no Christ. And so the Joker is constantly reeling him in. You're more like me than you would like to believe.
Wait, Harry Potter died?
In there,
It was removed.
moments, people show you who they really are.
Everybody has that piece of evil inside of him, which is why heroes and villains are a lot more alike than we
HBO
think.
Max.
They oftentimes have the same backstory too, which is a history of pain. The
Don't
hero is
spoil it
almost
for
always
him.
an orphan, and the villain will have some kind of scar in
Fuck
their
is
face,
Peacock?
indicating their painful backstory. But the key difference between the villain and the hero is one thing. It's how they respond to pain. Because the villain says, "The world
Exactly.
hurt me, and I'm gonna hurt it back as much as I can." But the hero says, "The world hurt me, and I'm not gonna let this happen to anybody else." It's how you respond to pain that eventually decides whether you become the hero or the villain.
Win another's energy. Your own spirit must be unbreakable, or you will be corrupted and destroyed.
God, Avatar was so good.
At the end of the day, we have to accept the fact that we're flawed and consider it a part of being.
Me either,
Evil
Avengers.
is powerless, as long as the good
Union
are unafraid.
was so crazy. Or I know, dude. I was tripping out watching it the first time.
Let's finish this the way we started.
Are they gonna kiss? Oh, I thought they were actually about to kiss for a second. They committed suicide together! Okay, Harry Potter might be actually pretty good. I didn't know Harry Potter killed himself with Voldy.
When a hero persona's limitations, then the plot becomes the challenge to overcome them. Just like in our own lives, there are certain challenges, setbacks.
Wait, so all that magic and all the fighting with the spells and all that shit, and he could have just grabbed him and jumped off a cliff with him this whole time?
And sometimes even traumas we have to overcome in order to move on and
Want to be tough for Katara?
Because without limitations, there is no plot, and no plot means no life.
They think I'm hiding in the shadows, but I am the shadows.
Hell yeah! I was still pleased. Moldy Voldy.
Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this video interesting or helpful and
yeah, I don't think he's America Draft, that's why he was saying it that way. That was a good ass fucking video. Fuck yeah.
Is this